Hey, my loves! Welcome back to Sensational Sense, where I help you glow up from the inside out. A special hey to my new sensationals. Make sure you join Notification Gang so that you don't miss out on any of this life-changing tea. Now, this video is for all the ladies who are on their journey to manifesting love. I'm guessing that's you, right? So make sure you watch to the end to make sure you are not making these 4 mistakes that can potentially ruin that for you. I would also strongly recommend pausing this video and visiting my How to Enjoy Being Single video to make sure that you get the full picture on how to use your single season in the best way possible. Now, ultimately, it's your life and you can do whatever you want, but these 4 things are things that I've seen people do and it usually doesn't end well and definitely doesn't help them on their journey to finding love. So let's get into what you shouldn't be doing during your single season. Mistake number 1 that so many singles make is hanging around with cynical single friends. Now, the emphasis here is on cynical. There's nothing wrong with hanging around with your single friends if they too are working on themselves and trying to have the best thoughts possible about manifesting the relationship of their dreams. But I would strongly advise against hanging around with people who say things like, men ain't shh, and things of that nature. Because if you're constantly around people who are saying how toxic and how grimy the current dating scene is, that's going to infiltrate your mind. And that's going to make it hard for you to believe that there's better out there for you. I would also add to this list unhappily married people, aka long-suffering wives, who fill your head with fear about how rubbish relationships are, miserably divorced people who are bitter about their relationship not working out, and panicked friends who are in relationships but essentially settled. So basically, anyone who's not emanating positive vibes is who you need to avoid during your single season. It's really important to surround yourself with other people who recognize the challenges of dating, but still believe that there are good men out there for them. Any form of obsessing over men during your single season, whether it's positive obsession, man here, man there, or whether it's negative obsession, men ain't shh, there's no good men, is a no during your single season. So watch the company you keep and who you're around and what they are saying. Mistake number 2 that you simply must not make, my darlings, is falling down the red pill manosphere rabbit hole. When you are single, make sure you do not start seeking the opinions of jaded men who have been hurt in their past and are trying to get back at women through telling them that their worth is gone once they hit a certain age. It is absolutely detrimental to your feminine spirit to hear that your worth doesn't exist anymore because your 27th birthday is around the corner, or you have no chance because you're not this or you're not that. So generally avoid any man who refers to women as females. Now again, that doesn't mean we have our head in the clouds, and that doesn't mean that we sit down and don't improve ourselves, which I'll get to, but we certainly do not want to spend our single season falling down a rabbit hole and thinking that men are this scarce resource that we have to panic and find. And that will definitely happen if you get sucked into the red pill manosphere. So make sure you do not fall down that rabbit hole. Because when we panic, we make bad decisions. Next up, my darlings, and cover your ears if you're sensitive, is casual sex and situationships. Now, I've already made it clear that this is a positive channel. We do not judge and we do not slut shame. So as I said at the beginning, do what you want with this advice. However, personally, I do not think it's wise to spend your single season catching the energy of men that you know are not your husband. Situationship is not part of my vocabulary, and it shouldn't be part of yours either. Women are sold this idea that we haven't lived unless we've had several heartbreaks and been in several toxic and dangerous situations. Personally, I disagree. Stop feeling like you're missing out simply because you don't have a plethora of heartbreak stories to tell. It doesn't matter. This is the time to be getting clear on what you want and healing yourself. So entering situations just for the sake of, or because you're bored, is likely to lead to you experiencing trauma which in turn can then make it difficult to see your real husband when he appears because you've got soul ties and all this baggage that's been gathered by engaging with people who you knew from the very start were not good for you. Now, it's completely up to you whether you want to be celibate, but what I would say is remember that your body is a temple, and so is your spirit, your energy, and your mind. So be mindful with who you spend your time with, intimately and platonically as well, because it's really important to do your best to heal during this phase and throughout life, and you don't want to be unnecessarily catching traumas just because you felt like that's what you were supposed to do. The fourth and final thing I would advise you to not do during your single season is to be complacent. Now, there's a fine balance with this one because you have to be present and enjoy your life whilst you're living it. So I don't want you to simply think of your single season as a layover to your relationship season. However, it's also really important not to be complacent during your single season, not to think that things are just going to happen without you putting in any effort. And that's why I made the video I made previously about how you can use your single season correctly so that you're living your life, but you're also aware of what you might want in the future, and you're doing things to increase the chances of that happening. So don't get complacent. Don't just pour yourself into work, or just pour yourself into your finances, or just pour yourself into you fill in the gaps. Make sure you live holistically, and remember that it is possible to have an awareness of what life is like without being cynical and jaded. I hope you found this video helpful, my loves, and remember you can revisit any of the videos in my Glow Up Romantically playlist and any other playlist that you fancy. I hope that you take these steps forward and continue to enjoy your single season if you're in it, and maybe think about some changes that you might make to make it even juicier than it already is. Remember, you are not defined by your relationship status, you are not defined by your job, you are not defined by your image, and you are not defined by society. So take these tips and use it to continue your already beautiful life. Until the next one, mwah.